Is of course patch 39681, a nice beefy update. I do want to note they actually did upgrade from Unreal Engine 5.3 to Unreal Engine 5.5. Let me turn the game down just a little bit. There we go. So it's been released on PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Android, on Google Play, iOS, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. Unfortunately, the Switch players are in Switch jail for now. I've seen stuff where apparently Nintendo is beefing with a lot of games right now for some reason. So it might have something to do with that. So it's going to be slightly delayed. They're going to be slightly delayed in receiving the patch due to those complications, and they will keep us updated with the patch approval process. Of course, by now, because this was posted at like 3 a.m. for me, so of course it's been rolled out for everyone at this point. Not all mods may be updated for this patch. They will work with mod authors to ensure they can be updated as soon as possible. However, this may take a few days, and they appreciate our patience. They have added a new feature. Locations that have a large number of players are shown with a warning indicator on the map. This feature is intended to help players, especially solos, avoid large groups of players and know which areas are risky to enter. And like, of course, guys, do give like your thoughts and whatnot on the update. We can discuss everything, but then of course in the comments of YouTube we can also discuss. So we do have quite a bit for critter improvements. Their new critter, the Hamalaria, will now spawn. Critters now have a chance to spawn at different growth stages. Baby critters are slower, smaller, and weaker, and their corpses provide less food. Baby critters are less common, and adults and subadult critters are more common. There is now a rare chance for an alpha critter to spawn. Alpha critters are larger, have more health, are faster, and deal more damage than regular critters. Alpha critter corpses provide significantly more food than regular critters. Critter footsteps. Critter footstep sounds now take into account the terrain type that they are walking on, such as dirt, grass, rock, etc. Added many additional critter skins. All critters now have a unique baby skin and alpha skin, so it's clear to the player if the critter is dangerous or not at a distance. Updated critter footstep sounds to be less loud. Critters now have better turn in place animations. Added growth sound adjustments to all critter sounds. They are now higher pitched when a baby and lower pitched when an adult. Or when an alpha, but of course as an adult too. I imagine it scales. Added blue blood to scorpions and horseshoe crabs. They do not provide blue meat chunks at this time. So that to me is hinting that we're gonna get like some adjustments to diets again soon enough. Didelphodon, Paleosiniwa, and Frog can now attack players if they are small enough. Critters now will spawn depending on the time of day. So for example, some critters will only spawn at night or during the morning. Made the Coelosaurus not so talkative. Those are little tall, fast things. Added sounds to frog critters' attacks. Critter melee attack distance improvements. Fix Centrochelis? Probably butchered how to say that. Meat chunk not holding the correct amount of food within it. And adjusted critter behavior so they no longer dig away when unable to reach the player. Alrighty. I'm gonna go ahead and get into audio improvements. Footsteps now have completely different sounds, audible distances, and have distant thumping depending on your creature's weight and growth stage. It's really lovely. Fixed water splashing sound being too loud and heard from large distances. And reduced volume for bone break sounds as they were audible from far distances. Patch stability and bugs. As this patch is a major engine upgrade from 5.3 to 5.5, please expect a lot of bugs and problems. They will be working on fixing these as soon as possible. There might be more crashes or issues than normal. Please keep in mind that these crashes are automatically reported and the team is aware of them. They don't need mass reports of it. They know. Alright, for general fixes. Of course, upgraded to Unreal Engine version 5.5. Grass on Pandora and Gondwa has been updated. Wind effects now should affect nearly every piece of foliage when playing on high settings. Wind breeze animations slightly adjusted. Of course, y'all will be able to see that through my stream once I get in-game, because I do play on high settings. Fixed combat music, not always playing. Updated the ambient audio that played in each biome. Ambient audio sounds will now change depending on the area the player is in. Fixed ability descriptions appearing on the side of the screen when at a low frame rate. Fixed pack hunter ability buff remains active when no Deinonychus remain in the group. Fixed a mobile HUD editor button resizing error. Fixed buttons in mobile HUD editor moving when tapped. Dinosaur calls cutting out or not playing in the character creation screen. Cerato, Deinonychus, and Latin emote animations have been slightly adjusted. Fixed the main menu buttons not playing their hover sounds. And server list page numbers sometimes loading in as missing. Enabled shadows on certain bushes when playing on low settings. Updated all Gondwa water to fix the rainbowy lights appearing at the water's edge. Fixed birch trees not having shadows on low settings. Fixed an issue where players are able to delete their dinosaurs by typing any name instead of specifically the character's name. Fixed an issue where your character could begin auto-running while holding down the auto-collect button on controllers. I feel like they've had to fix that multiple times. Like, every now and then it breaks again and they have to fix it. Set up ambient environmental sounds to have distinguishing day and night sounds. Added swamp ambient zones on Gondwa and Pandora. Bug fixes to skin validation for glitch skins using unsupported colors. Fixes to the replay system preventing the player's camera from being moved or piloted. Fixed an edge case where biting when picking up a trophy resulted in the trophy disappearing. Made precise movement sticky while transitioning between water and land while holding the precise movement key, meaning the player will remain in precise movement mode when transitioning between land and water to make it easier to quickly move between them. Fix sitting and sleeping state damage modifiers not applying properly. Now getting up from sleeping or sitting will properly make the player vulnerable for a short duration. Fixed dinosaur emote and attack sound effects cutting out suddenly. Fixed to footstep particle effects flickering on certain platforms. Fix for Kentro puncture spikes sometimes visually detaching too early. Improved the particle effects that played during storms. Added birdflex that fly overhead. Fixed an issue where rarely fog would not render properly when leaving the water. Updated the UI for the replay menu to use a new framework. There shouldn't be many, if any, visual differences. Fix the login debuff, occasionally causing jittery movement. Fixed up fallen redwood hollow logs having poor texture tiling. Updated Deinocheirus trot and run animations. And fix solid frame causing the player's health bar to not display its value accurately when viewed on a group name tag. Getting into known issues. This one was actually posted when they posted the patch notes, but then I have some notes of stuff that have popped up since the update was rolled out as well. So many rocks around Gondwa have different textures now, such as mossy rocks now having mud on top, or sandy rocks now being bare. This is a known issue and will be adjusted at a later date. So in the wee hours of the morning for me, there were issues joining community servers and server queue. So they said, please restart the game. They had a bug with the server queue and have disabled the feature for now. If you are console or mobile, make sure you are force quitting the game, as otherwise the game is simply suspended and resumed instead of restarted. I'm assuming since they said that they have disabled that feature, that bug may have just been cut out. I did actually see somebody who was crashing when they were trying to join community servers, but I also think that might just mean that those servers haven't updated yet, and or they might include broken mods. For replay recording in some cases is causing some users to fall through the map. They are going to disable replays for the time being until they fix it. Please avoid using the replay feature, especially on Xbox or PlayStation. Then there was a known issue with signing in with Apple. They are working on fixing that ASAP. Then for PlayStation 5 players, they are seeing a lot of crashes from PlayStation 5 players that are running the PlayStation 4 version of the game. So please make sure you are using the PlayStation 5 version on PlayStation 5, as it does not have those issues. So I guess about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, they gave us a progress update. Thanks for all the feedback and bug reports. They are going to do some changes and roll out a fix tomorrow night to some of the most common problems and crashes reported with the patch. The team is still working on figuring out an issue with PlayStation 4. Currently, it's only happening on retail consoles and not any of their dev kits. There is an issue with some mobile users crashing when spawning in as a Rex, but they have a fix coming that will be in the next patch. Then for PlayStation 4 reinstall crash note, they have noticed specifically for the PlayStation 4 crash where you crash when loading into the main menu. A reinstall fixes this. Some crashes are not fixed by a reinstall. If you have time and want to see if it fixes it for you, you're welcome to give it a shot. So, combat changes. Dev note about stat changes. Some dinosaur stat changes and abilities have been changed in this patch in a way that might seem confusing or just not make sense. They just wanted to let everyone know that there are many dinosaurs that will be getting their TLCs very soon, and to just hold on for a bit until they are rolled out. If you're unhappy with any stat changes, they suggest playing a different dinosaur until they are fully updated. Alright, and then, of course, getting into all dinosaurs changes. Adjusted the running speed and stamina drain rates of juvenile, adolescent, and subadult growth stages to generally speed them up and provide more stamina to allow young dinosaurs to better travel the map and escape danger. This affects... Hold on, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. This affects each species differently. Charge and stomp for many dinosaurs are no longer interrupted by knockback attacks. To account for this, they have slightly reduced their damage for the majority of them. Made several charges and stomp abilities immune to knockback. I think they wrote that twice in 2 different ways. But also, ability descriptions have been updated for abilities that shouldn't be cancelled by knockback anymore. Fixed hard-headed, reducing charge cooldown. Adjusted most dinosaurs to have higher fall damage resistance at smaller growth sizes. Readjusted speed scaling and damage values at smaller growth size for Deinocheirus, Tyrannotitan, Barsboldia, Spino, Tyrannosaurus, and Eo. Adjusted combat weight scaling through growth stages for the Deinocheirus, Titan, Barsboldia, Spino, Rex, and Eo. Oh yeah, that's just my little note. Personally, I feel like that collection of dinos, probably excluding Titan, because of course it just came out, it just might get some more stat changes, might be the ones who are getting their TLCs soon. They did also mention at least most of those dinos in one of their recent dev blogs as like upcoming. So that's exciting. Adjusted most status effect attacks and reflect values to scale with growth rather than remaining the same at all growth stages. Rebalanced lucky feathers for Deinonychus and Ramph and updated their descriptions. Adjusted all fish buffs to last up to 10 minutes from 2. Updated several ability descriptions to ensure they are accurate to the way the ability works. Family Chorus now provides a passive 10% stamina recovery buff while you are solo. Achillo and Struthi will now play jitter animations when paralyzed. Fixed an issue where camped targets were Oh, I spelled that wrong. Fixed an issue where clamped targets were accumulating any knockback applied to them for the duration of their clamp, throwing them a far distance when they were finally released. And they are porting the changes from overrides on official servers into the base stats for those dinosaurs. So, Achillo. Added strong claws, passive ability that makes them immune to knockback only while they're latched. And they increased ripping kick stamina cost to 6 from 2. Then for Amarga, increased max health to 1000 from 800. Increased health recovery rate to 1.95 from 1.55. Increased stamina recovery rate to 0.8 from 0.6. Stomp is now not interruptible by knockback attacks. The little raptor goes after him. Decreased stomp stamina cost to 7.5 from 10. Decreased stomp damage to 100 from 120. Increased tail attack base damage to 60 from 30. Increased tail knockback to 15 from 8. Sarah. Increased headbutt bleed amount to 0.4 from 0.25. Increased reflect bleed to 0.5 from 0.4. Increased max sprint speed by 15%. Removed stamina recovery penalty while trotting and walking. And increased slot size to 4 from 3. I'm honestly really liking the sound of the Amarga changes, personally. I almost wonder if I should play Amarga today. I was really kind of thinking Titan or Sarah, but Amarga could be fun to play too. And I mean, I intend on playing Path for the entire rest of the week, especially now that the update has released. So we have plenty of time to play Titan or Sarah. if we want to do a Marga today. For the Alberta, decrease stamina cost of charge to 15 from 20. Decrease charge cooldown to 20 from 30. Decreased stamina cost of stomp to 5. Decreased charge-based damage to 100 from 120. Increased max sprint speed to 950 from 925. And stomp and charge are both now not interruptible by knockback attacks. For the Pycno, increase knockback tail cooldown to 255 from 3. Increased animation speed of the Dasp breath vocal ability. Or deep breath, sorry, excuse me. Juke now keeps your momentum. Nice, nice. Increased headbutt knockback to 10 from 7. Increased duration of bulldozer and deep breath to 120 seconds from 60. Mouth guard now provides greater damage reduction from recoil damage. Heck yeah. And cracked scoots is now treated as armor rather than damage reduction. I think that's pretty good. I don't entirely remember the difference. For the Sarah, fracture now scales with growth. Decreased charged bite fracture damage to 10 from 20. Fixed rapid strikes buff not stacking without a body. Rapid strikes and lunge are now usable anytime. So not only when near a corpse, and their base damage has been reduced by 50. However, now when they are within 75 meters of a player's corpse, they will gain 100% increased damage. Good lord. That's a lot. Juke now keeps your momentum, of course. I love using Juke, so I love that it now keeps your momentum. Regeneration hide ability now also increases bleed, bone break, poison, venom, and toxin healing by 60%. That's real nice. Thresh's damage recoil is now treated as piercing damage and will ignore any additional armor you may have. Solid Frame now provides 100 health from 200. Bulwark now reduces damage only by 10%. All corpse abilities use 75 meters as the base range from 25. And Corpse Tracker now has a range of 250 meters. Yo, that's nice. That's real nice. And it really incentivizes the Corpse Tracker more. Like, yes, you are meant to be a little scavenger and corpse stealer. I love that. For Deinonychus, increased max health to 500 from 350. Slicer has been moved to the generic ability slot and can now be equipped independently of your other head abilities. Decreased Slicer's healing by 50%. Pack Hunter ability now increases healing by 25% for yourself, even when solo. Additionally, with 2 Pack Hunters in your group, you now gain increased damage by 20%. 3 Pack Hunters decrease Pounce stamina drain by 25%. Increased Pack Hunters range to 75 meters. On Alert now has a range of 200 meters. Meat Shield now no longer debuffs speed while latched. Meat Shield now makes user immune to knockback while latched or pouncing. Decreased loose down cooldown to 60 seconds. Static Cling now provides 50% reduction while pounced from 20%. Sever Tendon now provides 2% speed debuff from 1%. And they now have a new effect, which is that Sever Tendon can be used while pounced, and if used while pounced, apply 0.2 bleed. Distracting Chatter now has a range of 50 meters and provides 25% armor. Changed Meat Shield's effect on the Pounce character to say you are being protected by Meat Shield, and some of your received damage will be redirected to make it clear for the user. Nice. And increased Lucky Feather cooldown to 5 minutes. So, for Dasp, decreased Bone Snap and speed... Decreased Bone Snap speed penalty to 5% from 10%. Increased Shattering Cry duration to 120 seconds from 60. And Rampage now scales at 50% health rather than max health. Nice. For the EO, increased health recovery rate to 1.9 from 1.11. Decreased charge base damage to 100 from 120. Decreased charge duration to 7 seconds from 9. Increased charge cooldown to 120 seconds from 80. Decreased stomp base damage to 70 from 90. Decreased sharpen horns damage buff to 15% from 15% from 30%. Decreased headbutt base damage to 55 from 70. And increased trotting speed to 420 from 375. Ooh, that's a nice little boost to its speed. And charge is now not interruptible by knockback attacks. So 2 undocumented changes for EO that they just have these 2 passives. 1 Ironclad. Heal status effects 100% faster. Holy crap! That's amazing! And then Armored Skull. Take no extra damage from head attacks. They will be really good at face tanking now. That's awesome. Heck yeah. So, for the Styra, just gonna jump back into this. Increased max health to 700 from 600. Decreased sprint speed to 1050 from 1K100. Bro, I'm sorry, my brain is broken right now. It decreased combat weight to 2,700 from the 3,100. Decreased slot size to 2 from 3. And increased head butt bleed to 0.25 from 2. For Packy, Kickboxer now applies correct damage multiplier. Kickboxer ability now also increases stamina cost by 50% for charge and kick. Fracture now scales with growth. Improved knockback on all attacks. Increased batter's base damage to 80 from 20. Fixed charge headbutt, doing bonus damage. Skull Bash no longer shares a cooldown with default headbutt attack. Decreased max health to 450 from 550. Increased dodge cooldown to 8 seconds from 5. And increased dodge stamina cost to 5 from 0. For the bars, they increased its max health to 1750 from 1200. And increased health recovery rate to 1.75 from 1.25. Lambeo has gotten quite a chunky little collection. Tattletale has been disabled and will no longer be usable. You will get marks refunded if you previously had this ability unlocked. Dunking Kick has been moved to the tail slot and now provides a passive swim turn speed buff, 10%, while equipped. Webbed Feet now reduces swimming stamina usage by 50% instead of 20%. Protector now provides a passive armor buff of 10% that can be used while solo, and accumulates with any additional Protector group stacks. Improved the hitbox of back kick and tail attack to make them easier to use. Healing Presence can now be used solo. Bipedal Stance now provides 2.5 damage boost from 2 times for front kick. Added Forceful Blows sensibility to Lambeo, which increases the knockback of its attack by 50%. Removed Lone Survivor sensibility. Increased max health to 575 from 525. Increased tail knockback force to 12 from 9. Increased rodeo kick knockback to 15 from 6. Decreased rodeo kick base damage to 80 from 100. Decreased stamina cost of rodeo kick to 7.5 from 10. And rodeo kick is now not interruptible by knockback attacks. For Kentro, Bloodlust now provides 20% bleed damage boost from 25% and reduces damage by 5% from 25%. Tail Swing's animation speed has been increased slightly. Tail Attack's animation speed has also been increased slightly. Juke, of course, now keeps your momentum. Spit now costs no stamina to use. Counter Turn now has a cooldown of 2 minutes from 3. Increase stamina recovery rate to 2.7 from 0.6. And increase tail attack bleed to 0.25 from 0.2. For the Allo, they just decreased its bite base damage to 55 from 60. Jeez. Allo's already been struggling. For the Sarco, Gator Dash is now not interruptible by knockback attacks, and Clamp is now immune to knockback while carrying another dinosaur. I wonder if that's what helped fix the bug of people accumulating the knockback and then being flung. For the Hats, Clamp is now immune to knockback while carrying another dinosaur. Yeah. Then we got our Latin. Shred has been disabled and will no longer be usable. You will get a marks refund if you previously had this ability unlocked. Mangle has been updated to now do the same effect as Shred while you are latched. Mangle will continue to function the same as before if you are not latched. The animation for this change has not yet been finished, so this might look visually strange for now. Removed the nighttime requirement for Leaping Start, and Latin can now crouch while waiting, having the buff charged up. Featherweight now has a cooldown of 30 seconds from 5 minutes, and Bloodlust now provides 20% bleed damage boost from 25% and reduces damage by 5% from 25%. For the Struthi, they removed Lone Survivor's sensibility, added Sense's new ability Escape. When hit for the first time, gain a 20% speed boost for 10 seconds, but deal no damage while it's active. Cooldown of 5 minutes. Feathery Hide now no longer regenerates in combat. Changed Leap to be a leg slot ability. Herbivore Parade buff increased to 10% from 4%. Also now provides a passive buff if equipped while you are solo. Removed the group requirement for the Scout ability, but only applies to trotting speed. Swift Tempo now lasts 155. I guess that would be seconds. And On Alert has a range of 200 meters from 100. For the Spino, decreased Stomp stamina cost to 8 from 10. Stomp is now not interruptible by knockback attacks. Increased health recovery rate to 1.75 from 0.83. Decreased Stomp base damage to 90 from 120. For the Stego, unlinked the cooldown of tail attack and charged attack. Increased tail bleed amount to 0.75 from 0.3. Increased charge swing base damage to 160 from 100. Increased charge swing cooldown to 8 seconds from 3. Increased charge swing bleed amount to 2 from 1. And increased charge swing stamina cost to 15 from 0. Then we've got quite a bit for Deinocheirus. Increased max health to 1300 from 1000. Decreased combat weight to 4500 from 6300. Decreased fracture, bleeding, venom, poison, and toxin heal rates by 50%. Increased health recovery rate to 1.7 from 1.2. Increased stamina recovery rate to 0.5 from 0.4. Increased venom heal bleed subspecies to now be 25% stronger, but only while dried. Decreased claw attack base damage to 35 from 70. Claw attack now deals 0.5 bleed. Added new effect. Claw attack now deals 50% boosted damage if you are dried while using it, and 50% additional damage if target is also dry. Increased held knockback to 12 from 6. Decreased his stamina cost to 8 from 10. Decreased his duration to 60 from 75. Decreased goose honk cost to 8 from 10. Increased goose honk cooldown to 120 seconds from 90. And increased goose honk duration to 60 from 30. I know this new effect is kind of controversial. I think it isn't necessarily bad. It's like they're trying to get it away from just being a full semi-aquatic like the Spino and Sarco and whatnot. Getting them more on land where the water is then like an escape or something. Escape and food source, you know? Oh, okay, actually, Sucho, they are also giving it boosts while dry. So let me go, so like, yeah, it's like split up. We got a big boy and a smaller boy for each. Interesting. Okay, Sucho. Decrease stomp base damage to 90 from 120. But stomp is now not interruptible by knockback attacks. Increased health recovery rate to 1.35 from 1.97. Increased venom and bleed heal subspecies to now be 25% stronger, but only while dried. Swim speed subspecies has been changed to 5% boosted damage while wet. Increased trot speed to 430 from 410. Decreased bite base damage to 23.5 from 50. Added the new effect that the bite attack now does 50% boosted damage if you are dried while using it, and 50% additional damage if your target is also dried. That also applies to its claw attack. They decrease the claw attack's base damage to 15 from 20. Claw Barrage has been reworked and now scales similarly to Iguanodon's Thumb Barrage. And they added a new effect that the Claw Barrage now deals 15% bonus damage to wet targets. So they are kind of giving you a little bit of options where you can still boost yourself in the water. But primarily, you're gonna be a land fighter. So, For miragaia, increased max health to 650 from 600. Increased health recovery rate to 1.5 from 1.25. Envenomation now provides 20% venom or toxin damage boost from 25% and reduces damage by 5% from 25%. Spit now costs no stamina to use. Counter turn now has a cooldown of 2 minutes from 3. Adjusted tail attack hitboxes for tail barrage and charged swing. Increased tail barrage venom or toxin amount to 0.25 from 0.25 and 0.15. For the Megalania, increased bite venom amount to 0.5 from 0.2. For the Iggy, increased max health to 850 from 750. Increased health recovery rate to 1.6 from 1.4. Decreased charge cost to 5 from 15. Decreased charge cooldown to 105 from 30. Oh, it's supposed to be 10 seconds. Okay, thank you, Crow. That makes much more sense. Okay, so decreased charge base damage to 65 from 80. Fixed back kick not being easily usable when using precise movement and kicking at the same time. Also improved the hitbox of back kick to make it easier to land. Improved the hitbox of tail attack to make it easier to use. Thumb barrage can now be used while sprinting. Cancels sprint when used. Arm slap and charge are both now not interruptible by knockback attacks. Increased block activation cost to 5 from 1. And a decreased block duration to 4 seconds from 8. For the Titan, dash is now not interruptible by knockback attacks. They increased dash stamina cost to 1.5 from 1. Increased stamina recovery rate to 0.55 from 0.5. Increased Titan's health recovery rate to 1.7 from 1.5. There we go. And Juke, of course, now keeps your momentum. For the Rex, it has quite a bit of changes, but I wanted to take note of something that the Rex got that wasn't mentioned, which is Tyrant's Presence. It's a type of hide. All smaller enemies within a 30-meter radius lose 25% of their armor. And so for stat changes, increased max health to 1,250 from 800. Decreased combat weight to 5,500 from 6,500. Increased hunger and thirst depletion rate to match Titan. Yeah, y'all can suffer with us now. Decreased max oxygen to 100 from 300. Decreased fracture, bleeding, venom, poison, and toxin heal rates by 50%. Increased health recovery rate to 1.9 from 0.83. Decreased bite base damage to 65 from 80. Increased sprint stamina cost to 2.8 to 2.2. Increased crushing bite fracture damage to 20 from 12. Increased bone snap fracture damage to 40 from 25. Increased bone snap cooldown to 6 seconds from 3. Decreased bone snap stamina cost to 5 from 20. And increased tail attack knockback to 9 from 6. It did get hit pretty hard, but they did put a note that some of these stat changes, you know, might not really make sense to us right now, but just to hold out and wait until they get the TLCs released. A lot of dinos, apparently. They didn't, like, give us a specific number, but many dinos are gonna be getting TLCs soon. So, just hang tight and see what happens. Then lastly, for the Rhamph, increased plague carrier effect to 5 times from 2 times. Oh god. That's not good. Increased plague carrier range to 50 meters from 30. Will that... Oh, crap. And they get a larger range. Jeez. Removed Latch's passive stamina cost. Bucking the Rhamph will still drain its stam. Oh, interesting. Okay. Fix certain attacks not activating Lucky Feathers when Rhamph is sitting or sleeping. And added Strong Claws, which is a passive ability that makes them immune to knockback only while latched. Good for Rhamph, it has no attacks. Yeah, Crow. Flying Rat was already fun to play. Can't wait to get yours out of Impact Crater once more. Yeah, geez. They're gonna be even more tears than they are. Alright. And so, for localization fixes, Titan's Bite now mentions dealing bleed damage. Titan's Blood Soaked mentions specifically both the regular bite and frenzied tear. And Pachy's Head, Skull Bash, updated description to be more accurate. Oh my goodness, we're finally at the end. And so this is just a final little note. They did sadly temporarily suspend solo and solo permadeath game modes. For the next major patch, they will be, or well, for this patch, they will be disabling solo and solo permadeath from the matchmaking playlist. They'll be working on this mode and making changes, and will be bringing it back in the future. They're planning on keeping your character data for this mode around until it's re-enabled. This means your characters will not be deleted, and when they bring those modes back, you will still have them. They'll still be there for you. You won't have to restart. They have some new features that they want to test on regular official servers, like the high density player indicator on the map, which should help solo players avoid large groups. So, you know, that's why they're needing to do this. They really need these solo players to come back to normal officials and help test this new feature out and give them feedback on, like, if it actually helps, you know, helps them avoid mega packs and have a better time playing. And of course, they said thanks so much for your support. goes after him. Oh, I'm sorry, Seraph. Oh no, Seraph! I forgot that I had a stomp, honestly.